Okay, guys, this one's going to go over landscaping. It's not going to be perfect landscaping. We're going to talk more about landscaping later. But when we're placing our landscaping, putting trees around, we want to be mindful of providing shade to the house, especially in the latter part of the day, especially if you're here in Texas. But you want to, because this house faces south right now, I mean, it may not really face that direction. But we're not really concerned with that at the moment. But we're going to try to shade up sort of the front and the side of the house right around here with some larger trees. And then, of course, we're going to put some beautiful shrubs and flowers here in the little garden area. And you want to keep in mind that further out from the house, you're going to go with larger trees. The closer you get to the house, you're going to go with shorter trees. And that's really just a stylistic thing, which we will talk about at a later time. But all of it has to do with sort of framing the house out and making, the landscape itself sort of point toward the front door of the house. But it's real easy to do to make trees. So how I do it, or not to make trees, but to place them, how I do it is I go to component, because your plantings are under a component, and you click on component and you go to load family. Go back out to your main folder right here and look for plantings. Open that up, click on the first tree, hold the shift button down, click on the last one, and then click open. And that's going to put all of the plantings in your project. So after it goes through the updating portion here, we'll have them all in control. It's still thinking, I guess. It's doing a whole lot at the same time. We'll pause. Okay, so I have a tree and I want to place it. Now keep in mind what it does. I'm holding this tree, it places it at the 0 level, okay, which is your floor level. Most of these, when you place them, you will have to make some adjustments to them. So if I place a tree, I'm just going to place it right there. Okay, just to show you how it's done. All right, and then maybe I'm going to put some stuff in the little garden up here. So I'll go over here and find either some tropicals or maybe some shrubs. So we've got some conifers. Let's see, shrub. We're in the shrub section right now. We'll do a cedar shrub. And this is our little garden area, so we're just going to kind of come in here and sort of zigzag some little cedars. Now, if you want to place them close together, you have to kind of move around until the previous bush becomes unhighlighted. And then it will let you plant. So I'm just going to kind of zigzag these in here and just keep moving your mouse around until you don't have the previous one selected or under, whatever that's called, activation or something. Okay, so I'm really wanting to fill this thing up with some garden. Okay, and we'll put the last one right there. Okay, so going into our 3D view, we can take a look and see what it looks like. See, we got those bushes right there. We're going to get a straight-on frontal view by clicking on the front button on the view cube. Zooming in. And those are actually at a pretty decent level, but a lot of times when you put these out here, they actually levitate above the garden or above the ground. So in order to lower those, I'm going to show you how I lower these. I'm going to click on one, then I'm going to right click and do select all instances, entire project, and I'm going to bump these down with the arrow keys. Again, you got to have that straight on view to do that. And that puts them down here. It shows less white space, behind the trees right there. So everything looks a little bit more in place there, I guess. Regular trees are the same way. Sometimes when you place them, they're above the ground. So just kind of select them and bump them down till they get into the dirt or to the ground. Okay. And then you have a tree and you've got some shrubs. Okay. Now I want you to do this, and I want you to put some thought into your landscape design. Again, you want your landscape to kind of start tall out to the outside and get shorter as it comes in closer to the house. Right up next to the house, under windows and things, you want it to be really short. You want to kind of fill up that space really good. You can also do some things like hiding the corners of the house. So let's look at putting something like, let's see what we've got we can put in there. Got some pretty good shrubs here. Switchgrass, 4 foot, the verbatim. I saw something really good earlier, and I was wanting to try to find that again. I forget what it's called, but I think I would know it if I saw it. Maybe not. Okay. So anyway, if I want to hide the side of the house, I could take some of these little shrubs, or some of the taller shrubs, like pampas grass. Just kind of put some pampas grass right here on the corner. It'll kind of overlap on the driveway a little bit. And what that does, it just kind of softens up the corners of the house. Go out here and look at 3D. All right, so those are definitely sitting up high. So get a good frontal view. Click on it, right click. Select all instances in project. Bump those down to the ground. Here we go. Okay, so that kind of softens up the corners. It's kind of hard to tell with such a tall building here. So I would, if it was a 2-story house, I would need probably some other taller stuff. But either way, it does kind of soften up the corners a little bit and makes those corners where they're not so abrupt. Okay. All right, so that is your job, is to work on your landscaping and get all of your landscaping done. Again, put some thought into it, make it look really nice. You want to create some renderings off of this, and I'll be showing you that later, how to do the renderings.